Dobar ден, почитувани гледачи, вие гледате Daily Click на TV21. Денеска со една малку поинаква тема. Ќе разговараме за процесот за меѓународни акредитации на приватните универзитети, ќе разговараме за квалитетот на високото образование, ќе разговараме за неколку интересни теми со денешниот мој гостин, тоа е професорката Луси Дипу, која ни доаѓа од Република Чешка. Professor, welcome and thank you for taking this interview with us.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here, and Macedonia is a wonderful country. I'm really impressed.
Thank you very much. Let's start with the professor with the basic. You as the director of accreditation process. So you serve at the accreditation council of business and business schools and programs.
Correct.
Can you explain a little bit about the council? What it stands for, the core values of it?
Of course, the ACBSP, which is the Accreditation Council of Business Schools and Programs, it was created 35 years ago because in the US, in the central part, regarding Kansas City area and the whole US, there was at that time only one accreditation opportunity for all the schools, and then it was only research-based accreditation. So how it all started is that the schools that were not research-based but mostly oriented on student success and student excellence and quality of teaching and learning, they said that they want to create something that would enhance the quality of the universities and associate degree schools and let's say vocational education, if we put it this way, in higher education. So they started and they created this council to provide the overview of the quality of these institutions. And that's how it all started. And it started with several schools, of course, as a founding schools, and more schools are joining. And right now we have over 1,200 campuses worldwide in more than 60 countries and 6 continents. So it's
impressive number and impressive process and progress in 35 years.
In 35 years, we are one of the largest, of course, accreditation institution worldwide, with more than 750 universities accredited everywhere in the world. Of course, as it was founded in the US, most of the schools are still in US, but the growth is going outside the US, and that's why we are also here, because most of the schools that are joining every year is from outside the USA. And the good thing with ACBSP accreditation is that it's non-prescriptive and it can accept all the different, let's say, national accreditation standards, because it's based on the quality standards that are valid for business, for higher education, and everywhere. It's a quality management system which is non-prescriptive and fits all the countries worldwide. It builds on the mission and vision of every institution and develops it to a higher quality, because it's focusing on students, on the faculty, quality of teaching, quality of learning outcomes, graduation rates, and all these key areas, the supporting business processes and key student support processes, and upgrades them to a higher level continuously. So we have schools that are accredited, some of them even more than 30 years, and they're still learning and they're still getting better. And every institution that is joining ACBSP is getting better through the process, because the initial accreditation is, of course, a big thing for let's say, institution who is starting to get on the certain level of quality of all the standards that we are focusing on. And even after the accreditation process, which is a 10-year period, every 2 years usually, every institution must report improvements in the quality. So this is the core value, as you were asking for it. The core value is continuous improvement. And every school that we have and every school that is associated with ACBSP is going through continuous process of improvements in all the standards.
This is the second question that I wanted to discuss with you. So in our country, the University of American College is accredited since 2011, if I'm not mistaken. So you mentioned a little bit about the standards, and I want to ask you, what are the basic criteria for getting the accreditation?
The basic criteria is, of course, to get recognition in the national level, which is, of course, valid for University of American College Skopje. And then the next criteria is that there must be business programs up and running for at least 2 years and have graduates. Because all the quality standards that are based on reporting on the, let's say, outcomes of students and the income or inputs from the faculty, from the business processes, from the educational processes, and everything else. So how a school gets accredited is that we provide the 7 standards of quality. We provide a base for every institution, and then every institution is writing a self-study on how they apply the processes in practice based on their mission and vision and their strategic planning. They provide information on leadership, they provide information on strategy, they provide information on stakeholder focus, because the standards are also developing the students, the community, faculty, and all the other different stakeholders. Also, part of it is, of course, the biggest standard is quality assessment of student learning outcomes. So every, let's say, accredited institution have to provide outputs from students. Those have to be internationally comparable. So we are providing a baseline to get the schools not at the, let's say, just average level, but to improve to a best-in-class and to get the students to internationally recognized level. That is the purpose, of course. We are all focusing on student success, and this is the purpose of getting the best quality teachers, teachers from practice, professors with degrees, qualified professors, and the business applicable results.
Is it an annual process, the renewal of accreditation? That's annually?
The accreditation is generally for 10 years. After the first accreditation, every 10 years, a school is going through a very rigorous process with a site visit. Several team members are coming into the institution to check on the quality and the processes in place. And
so the standards basically that you mentioned, you have to keep up to those standards, because once given the accreditation, it can be lost after your evaluation.
Yes, it can happen, of course, because every 2 years, every school is sending a report on the continuous improvements, on the processes in place, and they have to report always the period backwards, let's say, on the student achievements, on the learning outcomes, on the graduation rates, and many, many other things, of course, on the quality of faculty and professors who are teaching in those programs. So every 2 years, let's say there's a reassessment, which is done by the Board of Commissioners, and there might be, of course, some outputs, either positive or with some notes or conditions, or if the quality standards are lost within the period, of course, it can happen that the accreditation might be also withdrawn or suspended. But of course, we are working with every school or every institution to continue with the processes, to keep them in place and collect the data continuously, to keep the quality, to monitor the quality, because what is specific with ACBSP accreditation is very data-based. So every institution must have the processes and must collect the data and must analyze the data. So we really see how is the performance developing over the years. We have, of course, long-term charts and developments to be comparable among the schools. And as you know, we have over 750 schools accredited. So it's a large pool of comparison, let's say. And we have, of course, a very high-ranked institutions accredited with ACBSP. So for every institution worldwide joining ACBSP, there's a high rank where they can go and they can improve. And as I said, we have schools that are improving for over 35 years. So every cycle, every 2 years, everyone has to provide improvements on their processes. So what are the teams and schools doing is that they usually have a specific team working on accreditation to look at all the processes and the data and the outputs of the data to provide the next steps and the improvements in the process. And this is what drives the accreditation, and that's what's most valuable for the students and the institutions, because there is nothing that would stop. Everything is continuous, and every 2 years they have to provide improvements in the processes, improvements in the quality of delivery, improvements in the, let's say, supporting services for students, even the libraries and other facilities, of course, and improvements in the teaching and learning process.
In this regard, how will you value the University of American College? Because they're the only ones here in North Macedonia being accredited. So you are evaluating constantly, as you mentioned, the progress and the standards. Your opinion? I mean, do you see any progress from the very beginning when they got the accreditation?
That's a tremendous process of development, because in 2011, when they were first accredited, they were accredited with, of course, some notes and conditions, which is pretty normal for schools that are joining for the first time, that they are reaching the average level to be accredited, but they have some notes and conditions. And these are let's say, areas for improvement. These are opportunities for the school to get on a higher level. So most of the schools, they started as a University of American College Skopje with some, let's say, gaps and opportunities for improvements to fill. And over the years, they were working on these areas to get to a higher level, and they succeeded, of course, and get to remove all the notes and conditions. So we really see the improvements over the years. And right now, again, there's another opportunity, because what the teams and evaluators are doing is that they go and they see the current processes in place, they see the current leadership, they see the current strategic plan, and based on those, as the evaluator teams and the commissioners are from various institutions worldwide and usually holding dean's positions or leadership positions and working on quality assessments for many, many years. They see the global, let's say, outreach, where the higher education is going, what are the possible improvements, and they working towards the mission of the institution to be able to provide opportunities again to improve the processes and everything that is in the specific institution. That's why the experts are going there to be in place to discuss with the faculty, with the students, with alumni, and with the leadership, of course, the perspectives, their background. Before that, they spent over 40 or sometimes even 200 hours on reading materials from the schools, from the self-studies that they provide. They also, of course, going through the web pages and all the materials that are available to, let's say, get the feel of the institution to fit their recommendations both to the standard of quality and to the institution itself. So it's very tailorable and helping each institution individually to get to a higher level, and at the same time to get to, let's say, comparable level with the learning outcomes and the success of graduates, because this is what ACBSSP stands for the student success and the excellence in teaching, because one of the core values is the excellence of professors, the delivery, applicable knowledge, and success of graduates.
Several times you mentioned the students, of course, in this story. They are the most important one. But before that, yes, I wanted to ask you about the students and their benefits of being part of this this kind of type of university that is accredited. But if you compare, for example, what are the key advantages of a school holding ACBSP accreditation comparing to those who doesn't? And direct beneficiaries of the students, if I hold, if I'm a graduate of the ACBSP program, what are my benefits because of that? Direct benefits because of that, comparing to, again?
Of course, the best and the most important benefit for all the students is that their degrees will be recognized worldwide, because the ACBSP accreditation is recognized in most of the countries worldwide. Globally, exactly. So after they graduate, they get a degree which will be recognized not only nationally, but internationally. And it opens the door for them to work in global institution, to travel abroad, to get a job position outside Macedonia, for example, or even if they stay in Macedonia, it opens the door for them because they have not just the current, let's say, national degree, but also international, based on the quality of standards. And this is another benefit that they get. They get the guarantee that the quality of personnel, the quality of faculty, and the quality of professors is at let's say the national, international, and globally recognized level. And they get the tuition from people from practice, they get the recognition from people from academia, and they get the best learning outcomes that are current with the current market, with the business, with the development of economy, because also one of the standards is based on quality and development of faculty and the professors that are teaching and delivering the methods. So there's a guarantee that they get current knowledge at the international level that is really coming from practice, from business practice, and all the delivery and all the teachers that are there are qualified and current with their knowledge.
So basically you are saying that if so the student graduate that holds a diploma, it's automatically internationally recognized. There is no need for additional certification or an additional process of acknowledgement of the diploma. So they can, wherever in this, I mean, you mentioned most of the globe, of the countries are recognizing this diploma. So basically you're saying that you go there as a holder of the diploma and you can easily work because it's being recognized without additional certifications, correct?
Yeah, that's correct, because also a CBSP accreditation is accredited by CIA, which is a Council of Higher Education in the US that oversees all the accreditation institutions as well. So there's a certification of quality and all the, let's say, data-based quality assessment. So we didn't see any issues with graduates to enter the job market with these kind of degrees. There are some countries in the world, of course, that they require, let's say, some kind of recognition of the degrees, especially for the government positions sometimes. But for the general business, we didn't see any issues for the graduates. Either they graduate here, Macedonia, or in any other country with ACBSP accredited degrees. Nobody had any issues to enter the market and get a job position in various institutions in the business.
That's excellent. Professor, if you don't mind, I would like to discuss a few topics with you as well. You already published hundreds of scientific articles, and your main area is basically the quality of the higher education. In global terms, where do you see the main challenges that the higher education is facing at the moment?
At the moment, of course, we are facing mostly the new technologies, which is highly discussed, AI in higher education, and possibly impacts on the teaching and also the thesis of students, whether it will impact the quality and also the preparation of students. So these are very highly discussed themes. Also, what we are discussing is the national specifics, of course, because sometimes the national governments are requesting or, let's say, holding back some institutions that want to join and to work on the international quality standards. So this is another issue. Then, of course, the mobility, as it's changing, especially with the war and all the other issues in some of the countries. So these are the areas that we are discussing and we are trying to overcome. Currently, ACBSP is working with several governments in different various countries, either in Asia or even Europe, and so to get ACBSP recognized as equal to a national accreditation. And we already succeed in several countries, so ACBSP is also, let's say, an opportunity for institutions to be accredited at the same level as the national accreditation, which is wonderful. I believe that there are more opportunities worldwide for higher educational institutions to choose the way that they want to follow and get accredited and provide a quality for students to be, of course, graduated with the current knowledge and skills and everything else.
As a scientist, and you do research on this field, how would you relate previous education level, for example, primary school and high school, how important is that? Because let's say the basis of education are gathered there. That's the first step before going into the academic world. So I want to relate this with the program that you have and all the standards that you mentioned of the program. Do you think that, for example, a student with not so good basic knowledge gathered from here, poor primary or high school program, can you make a good student with your program?
Yes.
Can you overcome that gap?
Yes, because it's also part of the standards, because we have, let's say, we call it a leveling courses, which is a requirement for also ACBSP accredited schools, because they can accept students from various levels of previous education, so with, of course, and the quality of students will vary when they coming into the university or college at ACBSP accredited school. So what the schools are required to do is to provide students with leveling courses and study materials, or even consultations, mentoring, and all the other various different methods and processes that they can have in place to get the students to a certain knowledge which is required to start either with an undergraduate or graduate degree or even a doctoral degree. So this is something that is required for every institutions to provide to the students. Again, every institution is free to choose their own methods, what works for them, based on the, let's say, the students that are coming in, because they should be able to analyze what the students needs and how the methods works for them. So most of the institutions, they are providing, of course, study materials additional for students to get on a certain level. Also, what most of our undergraduates let's say degrees are offering is the courses in general society, in communication skills, and getting the students to be up and running for the more advanced courses. So it's included in the standards in both undergraduate, graduate, and doctoral level. So every institution must have processes in place to get the students who need some support, because they're coming from various institutions with various level of knowledge, to be at the same base in the beginning or even pre-courses before they start the degree officially, and get to the desired quality at the end at the graduation. So this is part of it, and it's very focused in every institution, and of course the evaluation teams and the accreditation is focusing on the quality, getting the students there, because of course we want to help all the students, not just the top students, but all the students will be able to, let's say, enroll and get the additional courses, get additional mentoring. And what most of the schools are doing, and it's very popular right now, to do a tutoring for students, either from the faculty members or from other experienced students, that they know each other's needs and they know the institution, to provide them with the best support, to lead them through the materials. Now we have modern technologies, so they can listen or watch pre-recorded lessons. They can contact faculty online. So it's very developing. It's a great area. And also it works with the current trend of people being employed at the same time when they're studying, or adult education in general. Most of the people, they have families, they need to get their salaries, and higher education is opening for all of them to provide, let's say, personalized services, and getting them the best support using new technologies, using these pre-recorded lessons. Faculty and professors are available in general any time of the day, even for evening lessons or consultations. So again, these are things that are incorporated in the standards. These are parts of the development to provide opportunities for all the students that are interested in higher education, no matter the age, no matter the previous knowledge, to be, let's say, developed into the graduation. Of course, it takes different time. Different institutions are also focused on different various groups, either traditional, non-traditional students, but everyone is let's say every institution is free to develop their own programs at their own phase for the specific target groups. And the guarantee is that at the end, at the graduation, all of them will get a comparable knowledge with the worldwide level, and all of them would be ready for business practice with internships, with experiences, and with getting experience from the best people from the business and academia to prepare them for success in the business.
There is a big debate globally when it comes to the education process itself, and the diplomas and the high university and high education, and et cetera, et cetera. And we're going to just compare this with how was it previously, prior to the internet era that we are living in. For example, the access to information is now incomparable to how it was. When I was studying, I had to go to a library, look for the specific book, look for specific lines, et cetera, et cetera. Now you have that in 20 seconds, sorry.
Yeah, just a click.
Just one click away. So the access of information is incomparable, and a lot of people now are arguing that they don't need to attend classes, they don't need to be officially recognized with a diploma because he has all the information that he needs. And the other side, your side, is actually saying the professors and people, individuals who are in the science working on this field are saying that there is someone needs to channel that knowledge, those information that they are given. So that's why the diploma is very important, and being of the entire process is being important. So this is the main debate, and I'm going to throw one more thing here, but first I would like your opinion on this one, and then the second one is in the era that we are living, the job seekers, the employers, the employers. Now, if you noticed, on a lot of job applications, there is several criterias, but you can find a criteria that is saying, for example, you need to hold a university diploma, or, for example, 10 years of experience. So those, we all know, ideally is you have the experience and you hold the diploma, but there is a experience against diploma. What is more important? And this is another debate that is going on. But let's start with the first question first, and then we're going to end up with this.
Of course, it's developing, and it's normal. Nothing stays the same. And this is the value of higher education, because the higher education is developing as well, along with the technologies. As you said, everything is a click away. But the difference between the graduates and those that are never graduated or never studied at a university is that the students learn how to use the information, how to search for the information. And the value of the higher education is that they get people from business practice and the mix of academics who can help them assess the knowledge, because of course there are a lot of discussion on the disinformation that are also available on one click. So they teach the students how to assess what they can find, if it's relevant or not relevant, how to use it actually, because you can find anything you want on the internet, of course, nowadays, but how you want to use it. There are so many information that many students, for example, or people, they don't know how to work with so many information at the same time, how to decide in the business practice, for example, how to do strategic decisions. And this is something that you can't find on the internet. And this is something that students are getting during the higher education. They get people, and that's also the shift that is happening everywhere in the world. From the pure academics, the students are getting courses and delivery from people from business practice, from the top management level. Most of the universities, and especially in ICBSP accredited schools, there are regular lessons from CEOs of the top businesses. They are participating during the course delivery. They are working with the students. Students are working on case studies. They're working in teams with diverse backgrounds. They can work even, let's say, internationally. ACBSP is providing the student competitions. The students are competing with students from all over the world. They get also recognized for their work for the real businesses. So this is something that nobody can get without studying, let's say, at a higher education institution. And this is another value that ACBSP is, let's say, providing to the members, that the students can really work internationally on different cases, cooperate and network with students all over the world. And this is something that enhance their skills that would never be able to get if they only search on internet, let's say. So this is the value that the students are getting. And as you said at the second part, the job market is changing, and as we all know, the requirements and skills and all the, let's say, even the opportunities on the markets are changing and will remain changing. So again, attending a higher educational institution, education prepare the students to be ready for change, to work on various projects that some of them are very, let's say, close to their hearts. For example, if somebody is interested in marketing, the students love to work on projects in marketing. And so, but the general education is providing them with challenges to work on projects that are something new, that are challenging, with working with a lot of mathematics, for example, economics, theoretical concepts. And again, this is something that they will not experience if they don't attend the higher education. And another thing is that people are largely missing before getting to a higher education is working in teams on these kind of projects. Because again, if you stay at home and learn from internet, you will never be able to cooperate in a teamwork with various other people from different time zones, from different backgrounds and different education.
So it's not just the knowledge, but the whole process, the environment, the skills that you're developing.
And the applicability and, let's say, to work with the vulnerability and changing environment, and to be ready to work in different subjects, different areas, and to change over the time. Not just the job, but even the profession or the orientation, because that's completely normal right now, that even graduates of universities now, they are changing their jobs every 1 to 3 years, and even their career path several times in their lives. And it's continue, and it will continue, of course. So they must be ready for the change and use their skills and knowledge in different environments. And this is something that they're also experiencing during the university education.
The last question I have is another hot topic globally. AI is a threat to our education process and system, or we can work together. I'm just going to throw an example. You have a written exam tomorrow. Instead of studying and learning, putting your brain together, making that essay or whatever, you just use AI, ChatGPT, essay writers, etc., etc. So do you see this as a threat, or there is a way that you guys can work together?
It's an opportunity. Because, of course, everything is developing, and there is no need anymore for people to write long essays on their own, because, as you said, ChatGPT or any other AI can do it for you. The most important thing is that how we adapt on it. Most of the schools globally are moving from written essays, and they're moving from written theses, such as diploma theses and so, and moving to the real practice. And this is something I was talking about previously, is working on real projects. So the students, instead of writing essays or thesis as it is, they got a project in the real company, in the real world, and they have to work and use their brains and use their creativity to get a solution. And this is something that the AI cannot give you, because how can you write there something? Of course, you can use AI to write the general case and ask the AI for the main steps, and you'll get that. And it helps tremendously to students, because some of the students, when they're entering, they have no idea of the methodology, they have no idea on structuring different, for example, managerial processes and so. And this is something that helps them a lot, because even when they have it in textbooks, again, as you said, it's one click away. So you can find it, you can verify it, but what is important is that students learn how to use the AI to benefit them, to fasten their work, fasten their decision, get the information. And they learn how to, let's say, compose all the different information that are online and how to work with them further. So again, it's a next step. It's an opportunity to move from what we were writing, and everyone knows it takes a lot of time to write an essay. And now we have it in seconds, but the higher education was moving to the next step, to use what you find and what you can create or let's say generate from AI, and how to work with it, because it connects so much. It drives the discussions in the lessons and courses and between the students and professors, who is not so much a professor anymore, but a moderator of discussion, providing, let's say, questions for students to give them an opportunity to think about applicability and relevance of this information. So this is great support for students and professors and everyone, of course, to move from the current stage to a completely different level that will provide more innovation and more knowledge and more creativity to get the whole society on a different level.
Professor Dippu, thank you very much. It was my pleasure having you here for this interview today.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure for me to be here.
Dragi gledači, prijatno i imajte ugodan.